Hi, my name is Beth and today I've partnered with Practice Plan to bring you a video all about managing your finances at dental school and early on in your career. Now, by no means am I a financial advisor or an expert on this matter. However, I have learned along the way a few tips and tricks which have really helped me out and helped me get to my feet in the world as a self-employed dentist. I get asked a lot of questions about money management, finances, and especially during these first stages of your career where you may feel a little bit sort of undereducated and unsure about what to do. So my first piece of advice is definitely live within your means. So don't spend more money than you have and try not to see your overdraft as spare or free money. It's really tempting if you're saying minus £1,800 into a £2,000 overdraft allowance to think, great, I've got £200 left. When actually you don't, you owe an extra £1,800 and your interest will start to creep up on that once you've qualified. It's much easier said than done to say no to people, but really try and focus on not coming out of uni with any excessive debt. Of course, there's going to be debt which you can't avoid, and obviously it's really important that you have a great time while you're at uni, but at the same time, try not to overspend and live beyond your means. When it comes to tax, you need to consider how much you need to be saving if you're self-employed. If you're employed, this will be done for you, but then when you're self-employed, you have to take care of this yourself. So I have a few different tips and tricks which have helped me with saving for my tax bill. Firstly, make sure you understand how much that's going to be. So I have a specialist dental accountant who sort of guided me through this as we've gone along, so I knew how much I'd be expected to pay. I save 1/3 of my income as personal savings, 1/3 towards tax and national insurance, and then 1/3 for spending money. If I get any bonuses or extra income that month, then that also goes into my personal savings account. That's for things like holidays and a rainy day fund. It's important that you understand about tax on account. So you do have to pay more tax than just the 1 year at a time. So it's really important that you don't start spending out of your tax savings thinking that you've got extra. Always have a buffer and some extra money available there and understand what tax on account means. I personally save my money for my tax bill in premium bonds because this is safe, and there's also the possibility of winning prizes each month. Obviously that won't work for everyone, there's other ways you can invest and save your money, but personally that's worked really well for me, and usually the return works out more than the interest that I would have got from the bank. So on the topic of overdrafts, I would always recommend paying off your highest interest loan first. So whatever you've got loans on, have a look at the interest rates and try and pay off the ones which have got a higher loan. This will save you money in the long run, even though it might not seem like the logical way to do it. If you think about paying off maybe bigger items first, try and look at the interest rates. So I'd recommend buying things on credit card, provided you don't have loads of credit card debt or a bad credit score, but buying things on credit card and then paying them back in full the same month. This will help you increase your credit score, which is really good for when you start wanting loans and things like mortgages. Now, I'd just say, again, the emphasis is on paying it back in full each month. So not just paying back the interest, not part payments, making sure every month you clear that credit bill. You can set up a direct debit to do this for you, so you know you don't miss any payments. I'd also recommend seeking advice from a fully qualified and experienced professional. I personally have a specialist dental accountant, and I've also sought advice on pensions and investments and that kind of thing. So it's really important not to just make it up as you go along, especially when it comes to accounts and tax. You might find as you get more experienced and more knowledgeable about these things that you are comfortable doing it for yourself. But until then, do make sure you're getting help when you need it. A specialist accountant will also be able to advise you on things which you can get tax relief on, such as courses and physical items, things like loops. So you can claim something called capital allowances, which is basically tax relief on capital assets, which again are things like loops. Having specialist dental accountants will make it much easier to know what you can and can't claim and to get this right when you do your tax return. If you're considering buying property in the next few years, then have a look at what grants and assistance are available to you. For example, there's the government Help to Buy equity loans, this kind of thing, but some of them do have an expiry date, so some of them are no longer going to be happening in a few years' time. So it's really important to start looking now at what sort of schemes and assistance might be available to you if you're wanting to buy some property, and start saving in the appropriate place. If you're a student, you may think that you don't really have any money to invest at the minute, and that's okay. But as soon as you qualify from university, you can start saving up some money, and hopefully your income will be higher than your outgoings. When this is the case, have a look at different ways of investing your money for the long run. There's also different pension options, ways to buy properties, buy to let, all that kind of thing, which you may want to consider further down the line, but again, I'd seek advice on doing any of these things. When you qualify, you're going to have more money than when you were a student, so it's really important not to go and splurge and start spending more than you can afford. It's tempting to get fancy cars or this kind of thing, but you do have to consider the impact this will have over the next few years. And what you don't want to do is spend loads of money or get yourself into lots of financial commitments and then feel as though you can't actually go down the route you want to take with your career, maybe further qualifications, training jobs, that kind of thing, but feel as though you can't afford to do what you want to. So definitely take a step back before you start making any big purchases. Obviously everybody wants a holiday and to celebrate when they qualify, but do think these through carefully. The same applies when your loan comes into your account as a student. It's really tempting to just go and spend this all at once because it's as though you've been gifted a lump sum. But try and divide that by the number of weeks the money's got to last you and see it as a weekly amount rather than seeing it as a big lump sum. It's really tempting to spend a chunk of that and then sort of ration what's left, but you'll have a much more balanced and enjoyable sort of lifestyle and time if you actually divide that money equally across the weeks. And if you do have any left over at the end of the week, you can carry it forward or save it or put it towards something nicer, but it's very easy to run out of money if you get in the habit of overspending. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to get in touch, but I can also point you in the direction of other sort of qualified professionals who will be able to help you as well.